What is up with my hair? It's like it's all crazy. I got gamer hair from my freaking headset. I took it off because I don't need a headset while I'm recording a video, and look at that. What's up? It's me. I'm the Capybara, and I played Tunic. I played it. So let's go ahead and review it, because that's what you're here for. Tunic is a game that I think might take a lot of gamers off guard at first impression. You know, it had a relatively quiet release and can easily be overlooked as like the low poly action game where you play as the cute fox, but actually it's one of the most challenging gaming experiences that I've ever had. Behind this satisfying and calming low poly art style and hauntingly relaxing music is a Souls-like puzzle game. Souls-like meaning like the combat is challenging and patience is required. The saving system is similar in front of like the bonfires and things. But what really hooked me about this game is the puzzle aspect. You find pages of a manual, like an old classic game manual that you might read on the way home from GameStop after like buying a new game, and you like have to just rip it open in the car and learn as much as you can because you're so excited to play it. Sorry Gen Z if you've never experienced that. But this manual tells you how to play the game, and there's maps and lore inside it. But the problem about the manual is that it's in Fox language. Yeah, and it's possible to decipher, but it's really hard to, and as you find more pages and decipher the clues, like with context in the manual, you'll then progress farther and farther into the game. Now, the art of this game is fantastic. There was never a screen I thought was dull, or I didn't want to look at, and enemies are fresh and well designed, and our little McCloud Fox is as cute as ever. Art in the manual pages itself is really nostalgic, with some really BA spreads that like I would want to get a poster of, you know? And so overall, I would say the art is impeccable, and it fits the aesthetic of the game really, really well. Musically, the soundtrack nails the atmosphere the game is trying to do perfectly. The plucky synths give a feeling of urgency, while the mutedness of the pads make it so that it's not like overwhelming, and then the piano licks give it like a sense of beauty, and it helps to draw you into the world perfectly and is always appropriate. And not even to mention Tunic, which is, once you complete the game, you should look it up because I'm not going to go into it here, but it will blow your mind. Tunic. I'll put a link below for anyone who has already beat the game and wants to learn more about it. Now, the story and the lore of the game is deep and thought-provoking, but I'm not going to go into it any more here because even though you're never forced to engage with the lore or the story, I do not want to spoil it for anybody. That's also why we're only playing like the first 10 minutes of the game behind us right now, because I don't want to give away any puzzles or any lore or any story, because I think this game is 100% best going in completely blind. Now, when it comes to gameplay, there's really two aspects of it that really make Tunic Tunic, and it's the combat and the puzzles. The combat, albeit very simple, is actually surprisingly very deep. There's a ton of different ways to defeat the various enemies that you come across, and a lot of times you're rewarded for thinking creatively, combining items, and doing the specific combos in a specific way that the game doesn't just tell you about. So there's a few enemies though I found particularly difficult, but you know, it just made it that much sweeter when I was finally patient enough and thought critically and precisely and then freaking killed them, you know? So, but the mechanics of combat are really awesome too, should be experimented with. I was finding new mechanics in the game's combat system all the way up until the final fight, stuff that I had no idea that I could do throughout the entire game. So the depth of the system actually really caught me off guard, especially because I was comparing it to Zelda, which doesn't have the most crazy combat system in the world, but it's definitely more akin to the likes of Dark Souls. Now, my favorite part of the game by far was the puzzles though. Now, I haven't completed all of the puzzles and found all of the secrets because, you know, I'm a streamer, we gotta keep the show moving. But using the manual and discovering new secrets is definitely the best way to experience the game. And please, at least beat it just one time before you start looking stuff up. When it comes to negatives, the same things that made me super frustrated in one context, like dying over and over again to this enemy in this one room that wasn't even a boss, that kept one-hitting me, were also some of the game's biggest strengths. I'd say this game is really good about having a level of depth that makes you experience it as much as you want to experience the game. but I probably wouldn't recommend it to anybody who isn't willing to die a ton. Also, is it worth 30 bucks? Probably, but it's definitely worth it if you get it on sale or just get it on Game Pass. So Game Pass, when are you gonna sponsor me, please? All that to say, 9 out of 10, play the friggin' Fox game. And if you want to check out one of my other reviews, you should check out my Amori review right there. All right, have a good day.